So today we would be solving Leetcode question number 474 that says ones and zeros. So what the question really mentions is that we need to print that maximum number of subsets which when combined contains m number of zeros and n number of ones, and the length should be maximum. The length of those subsets, the amount of or the count of those subsets should be maximum. Like for example, we can see in our input strs we have got 10 001 111 a single one, a zero, and we need to create such a subset that would contain at most number of 5 zeros and at most number of 3 ones. So what we can really do is that we can combine 10 001, a single one, and a single zero. In this total set we have got number of zeros to be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. That was our count, at most 5, and the number of ones is 1, 2, 3. That was our count, at most 3. So how are we going to solve this question? We know first things first that we need to maximize the length of our set. And what is our set? Our set mainly consists of various subsets from our array strs. So what we gonna really do is that we will be taking various subsets from strs, concatenating them or adding them into our final set, and then counting the number of zeros and ones and seeing if that count does not exceeds our given count of m and n, and respectively we would be comparing various lengths of various arrays that would be creating from the subsets that we would be taking from strs. That is pretty much very sure. So first things first, we know that we would be creating our function that would give us the answer. Now there are some basic things that I know that I would be passing. I would be required the maximum number of zeros and the maximum number of ones that is given to me. So I would be taking int max 0 is equals to m, that is given to me, that given two binary strings, given an array of binary strings and two integers m and n, such that the string contains at most m zeros and n ones. So m is the count of zeros and n is the count of ones. So int max 1 is n, that is maximum number of zeros would be m and the maximum number of 1 would be n. I am sure about that these two will be there. Now I know at the end I would be returning my answer function. So what I would really be passing in my answer function? Firstly, I know that I would be iterating over each and every string or each and every subset of my set, the strs that would be given to me. I would be iterating over 10, I would be iterating over 0001, and like that, 000001, and so on and so forth. So I know that I would be requiring indexes to treat every string of my strs. I would be requiring a variable that counts number of zeros and ones till present time. I would be passing my count of 0, and I would be passing my count of 1 that are given to me previously, and at last I would be passing my vector of strings strs, and that is it. I would be dealing with the base conditions at the last. Firstly, I know that whatever might be the case, there would be a task for me to count the number of zeros and count of number of ones. I would be requiring them. So let me create a function that would give me count of zeros and ones. So I can individually take them or I can take them as a pair. So for now I would be taking them as a pair. So I would be creating a function that would return me a pair, and the name of that function would be count 1 and 0. Each time I would be passing a string here. 10 would be passed, 0001 would be passed, 111001 would be passed, and so on and so forth. So I would be passing a string s. I would be saying initially the count of 1 is equal to 0 and and count of 0 is also equals to 0 in my string. I would be iterating over my string for int I is equal to 0, I is less than s dot size, and I plus plus. I would be saying if s at I is equals to character 0, then do 0 plus plus, else 1 plus plus. Okay, at the end of my function I would just be saying that return a pair of int comma int, that would be 1 comma 0, return them as a pair. So whenever my function would ask for the count, it would always return the count of ones and zeros for that string that I would be passing. So now coming to our function answer. I know there is going to be a moment when I would be requiring the count of ones and zeros, so let me get it at first only. Pair int comma int p is equals to count 1 and 0, and I would be passing strs at I. The index currently I am at and the vector currently passed. So just give me the string at ith position. I would be iterating over each and every index. For I is equals to 0, here in our example 1, we can see at strs at I is equals to 0, I would be passing 1 0 as my string, and I would be getting count of 1 as 1 and count of 0 as 1 in my pair P. Okay, now I have been returned with count of ones and zeros. So now, for now, I would be creating variables. Answer 1 is equal to 0, answer 2 is equals to 0, and a variable answer without. I would be telling what is it for. For now, just keep it. Okay. So now I say if I know what is 1. 1 is present count of ones up till now that has been occurred. The total count of ones. Like for an example, if 1 0 and 0001 would have been passed in my set, then the total would have been passed previously. Then the total count of 1 would have been 1 plus 1 2. The total count of 0 would have been 1 plus 3 4. So now I say, and now I have supposingly encountered 111 001. So now I say, and I have received its count also 111 001, and that I have received count of ones as 4 and count of zeros as 2 in my pair P. So now I ask that if 1 plus P dot first, and what P dot first would give me? P dot first would give me count of ones. Right here we can see it. If P dot first is less than or equal, 1 plus P dot first is less than equal to max 1, and 0 plus P dot second is less than equal to max 0, then in that case we have an opportunity of taking this element in our subset. We have an opportunity of taking this element plus 1 in our subset and iterating over next element I plus 1 and adding 1 plus first in my 1 and updating my 1 to 1 plus first, adding 0 plus second, adding P plus second to 0 and updating my 0 to 0 plus second P dot second, and then calling for max 0 that was passed earlier and max 1 that was passed earlier, and our vector strs. That is my first option of taking this number. But supposingly I do not want. Answer 2 is the case when I do not want to include this string. Supposingly I do not want to include 111 001 in my answer, or supposingly I do not want to include 00001 in my answer. So I would not be adding 1, I would not be incrementing my count, and I would just say carry on incrementing the index. Do not add P dot first to my 1, do not add P dot second to 0, and let's keep everything as it is, and let's just iterate forward. That is pretty much very sure. In my else condition, if this was not met, that is 1 plus P dot first was greater than equal to max 1, or it was 0 dot P dot second was greater than max 0, or any one would have occurred or both would have occurred. In that case I would just say don't take P dot first and don't take P dot second, just carry on ans without zeros and ones. ANS without means it would carry answer for answer without zeros and ones, that is equals to ANS. Call the function, just iterate forward. 1 remains as it is, 0 remains as it is, and the rest remains as it is. That is pretty much very sure. Okay, we are just iterating forward. So in my answer variable, I would have initially, when I would have called the function, I would have initially passed starting index 0, starting count of 1 as 0, starting count of 0 as 0, the maximum amount of 0 as max 0, max 1 as my maximum count of 1, and my STRS that was given to me initially. Hope so my code is right and this would not lead to an error. So let's run this. Okay, error has occurred. Okay, answer 1. Sorry, answer 1. I think this is does not returns line number 27. Okay, sorry, my fault. I would be returning maximum amount of ANS1, ANS2 and ANS without. Whatever count I would be getting from these three, this one and this one, I would just be taking their max and returning it to my find max form. That is it. No, again an error. Basic m create length error. It's saying length error. Max 0, that is right. Okay, we have not added our base conditions in our function that I was going to add at the last. I would just say if my iterator I that goes beyond or equals to strs dot size, in that case return 0, and also if 1 goes beyond max 1 or the count of 0 goes beyond max 0, then also return 0, and I think the base conditions are sorted. I think that would, yes. So this is accepted, but I know what is going to happen if we submit it. We are going to get a TLE. We are going to get a TLE. That is very sure. Okay. So we have encountered a TLE. So now resolving it through memoization, we would be creating a once 1 2 3 a 3D DP int DP. This is a 3D DP. So what would be the sizes? I know that the length would not go beyond this limit, and that is 600. To take 600 I require one index extra, so I will be taking 601. The count of zeros or ones at any particular stage would not go beyond 100, so that would be 101. 101 to take my 100 as a count, and again 101 to take my 100 as a count for count of zeros and count of ones. That would not go beyond 100. It is written that str at I dot length would never go beyond 100, so my count of ones and zeros would never go beyond 100. Either it would be all ones, at the worst cases 100 ones in a single string, supposing this becomes all ones and 100 times ones, or it becomes all zeros at 100 times zeros. Okay, Initially I just say that memset, I will pass on my function dp, make all the values of dp as -1. In my function, where I am returning, just below my return value, I was saying if dp at I at 1 at 0 is not equal to -1, then in that case return dp of I at 1 at 0, and then call for or save the value of max variable that we are getting in our dp at I at 1 at 0, and I think we are good to go. Yes, and I think this would result into accepted. If I submit it, this would be accepted, and that is it, guys. So thank you for watching this tutorial. Have a nice day. Bye.